Right. Good evening, everyone. Very exciting to be with you. This is Encounter Cafe online. We've been on for a number of weeks now. We've been doing different things about hearing from God, which are called prophetic. It's the prophetic, and it's about hearing his voice and listening. So tonight we are doing activation. So it's about you guys hearing from God and seeing what he says to you. And Clive's going to explain a bit more.
Yes. So, first of all, hi, Alex. Well, welcome to the group. So what we're going to do is we're going to give you a subject matter and then just ask God to give you something from that list, which the first ones we're going to do, I'll explain, is colours in a moment. But so when you ask God, just be open to him and just say, what colour do you want to give me, Lord? What colour? Just keep it simple as that at the moment. Then put up the colour on chat so that we've got it. And then just say to God, why are you giving me that colour? What it is that that reason is. And then put that on the chat as well. And then perhaps we'll build up from that if we need to go back to God to understand why he's doing that for you. So that's the first one. Hi, Joyce. Nice to see you join us as well. Just come up with a choice of colour. Remember that this is being placed on YouTube. So if you do get something from God and you don't want to give it too much, just give a general description on the bottom. Obviously we could always talk about it later offline if you needed to, if there was something that worried you. Just also just remember that if you're not too sure of anything that you're getting, check with us whether you think it is from God. But it's always going to be good things. If it's good, it's going to be from God, I would say, without a doubt. But we'll check it in with you as well. So when you're ready, just come up with a colour. We're gonna change it up from colours in a bit, but we'd start off simple. So just ask God for a choice of colour. And we'll also do the same whilst we're waiting for someone else to come up. We can between us.
And also, Clive, we were thinking about making sure that it's from God and it's not just us making things up. And I know we talked about some. I know Peter's just joined us, which is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's a good thing not to choose your favourite colour straight away, because that's possibly from you. So it's quite often that when you get something unusual, you can say, well, that isn't really me. I wouldn't normally choose that. That's probably going to be God. But we will then ask him why. There's no pressure on you guys that are watching. And if you're watching this later on YouTube, catch up or something, and you think, I can't really ask, but you get a colour, there's no problem with messaging us in a different way and just saying and telling us what you got. But just remember, if it comes back, you ask God why he's given you this colour. Just check it out and make sure it's something that's positive. It lifts you up. It's a positive. And then that will probably be from God. And also how you feel in the gut about things is good. Hiya, Katie. Good to see you on board. Hope the kids are well. Getting close to Christmas. They're probably getting excited. So, Katie, we're doing colours at the moment. So if you just ask God for a colour and then put it on, and we'll just guide you to ask him next. Just trying to think of stories. I don't know if anybody's been seeing my latest vlog on Tuesday, but that was to do with some of the dream stuff, and colours are quite often in there. And I've had a lot of, the team have had lots of wedding dresses, which obviously are usually white, which has a meaning. And we give out the reason to those people. And different colours do mean different things, but that doesn't mean God won't tell you. It's all right me knowing from interpretation, but it's quite good for you to ask God yourself, because it's not just what I know or we know, it's what God tells you. And it might be for an unusual reason that he's giving you that colour.
And the reason we're doing this is to get used to and practice hearing the voice of God and discerning, working out, yes, that is his voice. And as you get better at it, as you push into it and practice more, it becomes clearer, and you know, yeah, I know that's you, God. So this is a good opportunity just to ask God, what colour have you got for me?
Yeah. And Joyce, you've given us 3 colours is fine. And I think when you go back to God now, ask him about why you're getting them, and also why you're getting them in the shape of a drop. So just sink back into his arms and let us know what you get back from him from that. So the 3 colours and that shape, because you've said that it's in drop shapes, is probably important. We shall see.
And Peter, do you want to add anything about hearing God's voice and how we can get better at hearing it and knowing it's his?
I think practice and practice and practice, to be honest. Some people seem to have a real full gift quite early on. For most of us, it's learnt through practice and testing out, and just sort of getting to know when you're hearing God's picture voice or whatever, rather than just your own thoughts. Not that it's ever an exact science, as it were. We're always probing a little bit, into the mist. But yeah, it's very clear sometimes when God speaks.
And he speaks in different ways, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So how does he speak to you or show you things?
Well, yeah, as I said last week, it's mostly through pictures. And they're just sort of fleeting pictures. And I tend to rely on those more than anything that I've thought about a lot. I just get a little flash of a picture in my mind, and then he seems to give me the interpretation to go with it. Although, as you practice hearing God's voice, you need to be careful about interpreting what you hear or what you see, because you might be putting an interpretation on it that's not the best one. So,
that's good advice.
Yeah.
Yeah, Katie, I can have seen what you've said about dark shades, black and grey. So go back to God and ask him why he's giving you those colours. Don't be fearful about asking him. He wouldn't give it to you unless there's reasons. So at the moment we've got orange, white and yellow in drop shapes from Joyce. She's gone back to God, hopefully, and we'll hear from her in a moment. And dark shades of black and grey from Katie. Let's just wait and see. That's all right, Sharon, that's no problem. We're doing colours, so if you've got a thought, or you just get, sorry, not a thought, but just pray to God. Don't choose your natural favourite colour, but ask God for a colour and let him give it to you. Just put then on here what the colour is. I know Suzanne's joined us as well. That's the same for you, Suzanne. I haven't got anyone different. Have you got anyone else, what I've said?
No. No, I was just going to say, if you just joined us, we're doing some activations. So it's about you hearing from God, hearing his voice, learning to hear his voice for you. And then just practicing. We've talked about practicing hearing his voice. When you can hear it for yourself, you can also hear it for other people to encourage others as well. So we're on colours at the moment, asking God what he's saying about those colours that he's shown you. Yeah. And it might be that you get a word of the colour. It might be that you see the colour. It might be you just get an impression of that colour. God shows us it in different ways. And for one person, it might be one way, and for another person, it might be another. But he's got his own way of speaking to you. And also, sometimes it looks different at different times.
Yeah. It's good not to try to work it out yourself. It's better to, as soon as you get a picture or something, so if you've gone back to him about those colours, if you get a word, a thought, an impression, a gut feeling, come back to us with that. We can always go back to God to find out more. But if you get an impression and then you try and work it out straight away on your own without going back to God, you might take yourself down a rabbit hole. So it's always good to come back out. Okay, Sharon, we're already looking at yellow and orange, strangely enough, for Joyce. So great. Now just go back to God and say, why are you giving me yellow and orange? Ask him.
And if you want to share it, you can. If it's not too personal, if it's too personal, you don't have to, but it just encourages others, and it might be something for them as well. Oh, Suzanne's got navy blue. Oh, and the word royalty came to mind.
Okay.
Excellent.
Take it back to him and ask him for more.
So I like that he's given you a colour and he's given you a word as well.
Yeah, it's like with Joyce, she got a shape, which I think was interesting.
Mm.
When I thought about it, a flower came to mind straight away, and interestingly, it was orange and yellow. So popular colour this evening.
Yeah,
it's good. So now go back, Peter, and ask why he's giving you an orange and yellow.
Oh, yeah, I've already done that. I'll let you know later.
Oh, okay. That's right. I mean, if it's personal, you don't.
No, I didn't mean that.
No, I'm saying that for everybody.
Yeah.
You don't.
Yeah.
I think we were going to change it up to a different subject matter, but because we're waiting just to see if anyone's got something to say, I think we should stay with the colours again. Although if I'm gonna chuck the cat amongst the pigeons. If when you've asked for a colour, you've got something totally different, you just want to share that, that's fine as well, because it's silly because we're saying colours. So if you've gone colour and instead got, I don't know, an armchair, share it with us. We can always ask God why. Think that's good. Joyce, think God is saying a time of things being clearer and blooming like spring.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. So, this may not be for us, Joyce, but the interesting thing is there something that needs to be made clearer? I would say straight away from that, this is just me speaking, obviously not God, is to go back and say, well, is there something that needs to have more clarity? If there's something there, perhaps that you're aware of or you may not be aware of, just keep going back to him, maybe later on if you want to clarify what it is to be made clearer.
And I think it's really good to ask God questions and to have that conversation with him, but maybe that's something that's new to you. And obviously we're talking about hearing the voice of God, and if you haven't been able to hear like that, then that's a new thing as well. So just as you step into this more, as you gain confidence of, oh, I can recognize your voice, God, then it's really good to ask him questions, especially when he starts showing you a picture of something for somebody, or for yourself, like, what are you saying about that, God? Yeah, can you give me some more information? Or a specific question is good. Just waiting on the answer. Sometimes it comes in that moment, sometimes it comes later. But he will always respond.
This is interesting that's come up from Sharon. I think with the yellow, I'm getting the word that even though it's dark and grey, God always brings sunshine. Not sure yet about the orange, fine. Now that's interesting because we've got somebody else seeing the dark and grey. So it might be there's nothing wrong with someone getting something for someone else. So Katie, I would, if you're not getting anything from God, or if it's a confirmation for what you're receiving, look at what Sharon's showing is, even though it's dark and grey outside, it has been, hasn't it, most days recently, God always brings the sunshine. So, if there's something in that you're worried about, if it's with dark or grey, then, and God's showing you something, then it might be that Sharon is stepping out for you. And there's nothing wrong with cross-pollination. You just got to accept it or decline it. It's the same with anything. Word of prophetic, because you were getting it this time from someone else, not direct from God, you can say, yeah, I'll take that for part of my journey.
You're reading Suzanne's.
Yes. Do you want to take that one, or Peter?
Peter, Suzanne's put about an old-fashioned metal watering can keeps appearing before her eyes, but she said, think I need help.
Well, I think we had a watering can last week, didn't we?
That was one of the objects, yeah.
Yeah, it was a plastic one though, wasn't it, that one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No problem, Katie, understood. And it'll be on YouTube, this, so if anything else comes out, please do listen to it, and hopefully you'll get a benefit from it. Bless you. Love to the kids.
Carry on, Peter.
What about the
watering can?
Watering can. Well, it's difficult to know. I wouldn't want to necessarily say anything prophetic about what someone else receives for themselves, because I don't know whether that's definitely from God or not. So no, I would leave that one for myself at the moment. I think Suzanne needs to interpret that one herself. I think, or just sort of just park it if it doesn't really mean anything.
Yeah, I think, Suzanne, go back just like with the colours and ask God, why you keep showing me that? And right, so it doesn't make sense. So go back to God and say, so, hey, God, navy blue, royal, and a watering can that's made of metal. Why? Why, God? He is a God of mystery, we know that, but he's not going to give you something that you're going to have too much confusion. He sometimes doesn't give all the answers straight away. It might be later. So it's great to note these things down. But go back and ask him. That's what all this is. Is this as a training of activation that as you talk more and more to him, you can get more and more. And he doesn't want you necessarily to run too fast. So he's giving you more to come back to him. He loves this. He wants to play this as much. It's not a game, but it's something that he's enjoying with you.
And also just thinking about how, and we can hear God for ourselves, just about how we can ask God for things for different people in different situations, that we can be brave, maybe in a shop, maybe in different circumstances on the bus. Obviously it's not as easy at the moment, but it's just about stepping out and sharing, and like, God, have you got a colour for that person? And sometimes it's easier, like, it's good to start with people that we know, who maybe we can say, I'm practicing hearing the voice of God, can I test this out on you? and ask for a colour or something like that, and then say, I've got this colour for you. I believe God's saying this. Does that mean anything to you? Does that help? And make sure that it's encouraging, uplifting, that it, yeah. So just a challenge for you.
You. Just checking time-wise. Oh, we're getting close to the end.
I mean, one thing you can also do, it's a little bit of a starting ground if actually approaching people is too difficult, is when you see people around, is to actually ask God, what if I was going to speak to this person, what would you say about them? And it's surprising that God will give you something about them that would be helpful, even if you don't actually give it to them or have the opportunity to do that. So if you're not at the moment brave enough to approach people, do ask the question when you see people, what would God say to them? What word would you have for that person? And
that's good, Peter.
You can hear it, and that does work.
Yeah.
God's not concerned that, well, I'm not going to give you a word because you may not pass it on to the person. So it's with the gift of knowledge, you have that gift anyway, to hear God, and it's up to you to decide how to use it.
That's really good.
So as we're coming to the end, I don't want to usurp anything that God's saying to you, but I'm just going to give you what from the dream and visions, what we would give someone we would look at for the different colours that have been mentioned today. But that doesn't mean that's, as I said before, God's giving you direction. But if you're still puzzling or something, you can take this back and say, is this why I'm getting this colour? Because Clive has said, and when I say Clive, it's because we're doing it, it's out of scripture, but been taken into the John Paul Jackson Dream and Visions, and it's the interpretation of colour. So, yeah, you're happy with me doing that, guys? Just checking.
Yep.
Yeah.
So orange, and these are all positives. Even for the dark shade and dark, but for orange, it's I'm just going to make sure I've got it right. Yeah, perseverance and persistence. Now look at this on the positive side. Yeah, perseverance and persistence. With the yellow, it's gifts of hope, faith, and strength. So there's a lot there. You might have to re-look at this YouTube and come back to it. Gifts, hope, faith, and strength. So you might say to him, God, is it one of those four? Is that the reason I'm getting this? And putting them together with orange, yellow, and now white. White is holiness, purity, and righteousness. Now, no one's come up and felt negative, so that's I'm giving you all the positive stuff here. We can look at negatives, but that's not for today, because everyone's coming, having spoken from God, it's going to be positive. So please look at it that side. So for black and the dark grey, it's again positive, mysterious and hidden. So you might think, oh, why? But that's, God's giving you something that's mysterious, something hidden. What is it, the Lord, then, that you're showing? You showing me something that's hidden, that's been hidden from me? Ask questions. Go and hear what he says. Keep going back and forward, back and forward. And the last one was blue, and you said royalty. It's very important. And like the drops, ask God about the drops. But on blue, it's revelation and communion. So communion with the Godhead, communion with others, revelation, something coming out and telling you. Now, adding that to the watering can, I don't know, but God does. So say, if you're still confused, is it about revelation? Are you trying to give me something here? And have I got to water it? I don't know. I could give you examples, I could give you thoughts, but I don't want to give too much because this is your activation. But perhaps those little tweaks may help going forward. Wow.
Brilliant. Thank you, Clive.
Thank you.
So I think we're going to finish there, and I hope it's been helpful. if you're on live now or whether you're watching this later. Yeah, we just pray a blessing on you, that you will hear God's voice even clearer, and that he will, speak to you and explain a colour or something you've asked him for.
Yeah.
So we will be back next week, but we're not entirely sure what we're doing yet. So watch this space.
may do the other element of activation that we were going to do, perhaps. Yeah, and any feedback, guys, we would really appreciate it. If it's an open one, you can do it on the YouTube Messenger or whatever, Facebook, or you can do it direct if it's something you want to talk about, got a question. Please do ask. That's why we're here. We want to help you and guide you and help whatever God's doing in your life, because you're in our lives. We love you. True. It's true.
Right.
I love it. You better shut up.
Yeah, I was thinking we've just finished now.
To get to.
Take care, everyone. Be blessed.
Okay. Yeah,
Bye.
be blessed.
Bye.
See
Okay.
you soon.
Bye.